Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Isn't It Time Facebook Live show. I'm your host, Sally Thibault, and today we're talking, isn't it time to be true to yourself? As you pop on this morning, just say hi. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm just realized I've left my phone on. Let me turn that off. Let me know if you can hear me this morning and where you are. How are you on this gorgeous election day? Oh, my Lord, thank goodness it's here. We don't have to listen to that damn jingle anymore. My Facebook feed full of yellow. Morning, Deborah. Morning, Deborah. But we're a great political family here. We do love a good election. So let's get on with this and let's get back to everybody feeling certain again. I don't know if you feel a kind of degree of uncertainty. Thanks, Deb. Degree of uncertainty, certainly in business, and certainly for many people feeling a bit. So let's hope Monday we're all back together. Whatever happens, the world will still keep turning, and we will still be doing. Morning, Kate. So we're doing what we do. We'll. I don't know why everybody gets so concerned. You know, it's just. I believe in creating your own reality, no matter what. We're very fortunate to live in a country where we have a right. Good morning, Elle. Right to choose government, and we should embrace that all the time. So, let's do this. Let's do this now. I want to talk this morning about are we being true to ourselves? And as I mentioned in the prelude to the show, I had a 2 a.m. wake up. You know, I often wake up thinking about things, but I woke up one day this week. I'd had a client, as a younger client, and quite a morning savannah, really an entrepreneur with a vision for life and a great business idea, and got a bit of a disruptive model that she's working on, and quite extraordinary what she plans, but wanted to come and have a session with me just to kind of have a day with me, just to kind of ensure that she was really focused and on track, and wasn't carrying any stuff that would kind of impede on this. And of course, you know, that's the best thing. If you've got a business idea, if you want to take your business to the next level, you continually work on and do the inner work all the time. And she came and saw me. A great day, loved her concept, by the way, but the day was about working on her inner work and her inner self. And at the end of the day, she said to me, I don't think I really know who I am. I've just realized that everything I've ever done before is because I've been stepping into a dream of somebody else's. And that kind of the next morning, that's when I woke up and I thought, you know, my mother's quote, one of my mother's favorite quotes, and she actually wrote this on a card and gave it to me on the morning of my wedding. And she said, it's a quote from Shakespeare's Hamlet, and this above all, to thine own self be true. Now, I've said that a lot over the past, and actually whenever I've given a card to a newly married person, or a person just a bit married, I've often written that in the card as well. But it really kind of hit me after working with this young person on during the week. Do we really know who we are? In that, you know, business of being a daughter-in-law, a sister, a mother, a partner, career person, business owner, all those layers, you know, friend even, all those layers of us as women in particular, do we really know who we really are? And are we being true to that person? Are we being true to it? Now, what happens when we're triggered is that more often than not, we are triggered by something from the past. All the memories, all the emotions of us live within us. You know, and we're triggered by them. So instead of dealing with the sadness because your dad was never there for you, we'll yell at our husbands because they aren't listening to what we're saying. Or instead of feeling the hurt because you've been ignored by the cool group in school when you were 16, we spend countless hours trying to be perfect and doing everything right and working longer than our colleagues. And instead of feeling the pain of never being recognized and acknowledged by usually a mother, we sit down and eat a bag of potato chips, because what's the point? I'm never going to feel good enough anyway. Every emotion and experience you've had as a child still exists within you. Just because, whether the pain was felt when you were 4, you can still express it when you're 44. And the deal about focusing and moving forward now is not ignoring it. I don't know whether you're seeing this or not, but let me know in the comments if you are. Do you sense that people are more heightened at the moment? It's like, do you feel that there's more triggers? Seems to me, and I'm not sure whether you're feeling it as well, that there seems to be a lot more people on edge, or a lot more people kind of flip. There seems to be more stress. And I see it from the work that I do, is continually going back and doing that inner work. We've got a client at the moment, well, my husband has, and something happened yesterday, and he was just really cranky about it. And, he said something, this always happens to me. Well, okay, let's go and deal with this pattern, shall we? Most definitely. Yeah. Isn't it interesting, Savannah? I'm not sure. I don't know whether everybody is, and I wonder sometimes whether it's because of the work that I do that I'm just seeing it in people. But it seems to be this, feeling, uncertainty. Maybe that's what it is. So every experience, every emotion we've got has a root cause. You know that. But when it comes to stepping into the truth of who you are, it's about courage. It's about being able to say your truth without fear of ramifications of what's going to happen to you. And in that presence, it's about, if you're in a situation where you can't speak your truth, instead of withdrawing, which many of us do, and I know I used to do, I do one or two things. One, I'd say things and nothing had come out right. And I'd walk away, I later go, damn it, I wish I'd said that, or damn it, I wish I said that. Now I understand that's the flight response or the freeze response. But the other part about it is that we get triggered and we end up turning inwards. And that stuff, that inwardness thing, that pain that we feel or don't feel, sits in our bodies. We lose sight of who we are, that sort of expression of who we are. And so it's about going back and uncovering all those times when you dimmed your light. Being true to yourself is like every other thing we do in life. It's about practice. And if you grew up in a family where you weren't allowed to speak your truth, where you weren't honored and valued, and that's probably most of us, let's be real, in the generation we grew up in, where we were not allowed to express our own truth without being told to sit down, shut up, go to your room, stop crying, who do you think you are, where'd you get that from, blah, 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 blah. That the ability to speak your truth and to be true to yourself is actually lost. It's something that becomes very unknown to us. So the challenge is to be confident. Oh, really? I'm just going to see what you got up, Savannah. I've just moved my computer around this morning, so wait, we go. Savannah, situations are arising in order for me to deal with these triggers. Oh my God, I spoke about this yesterday. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Good morning, Donna. Good morning. So what I've experienced in my own life and working with clients now too is that we go back to old patterns very easily. We slip into them very easily. And even if we speak our truth we don't feel comfortable about it. You know, we walk away from the situation, go, I wish I hadn't said that. Or maybe, you know, I hope they don't think I hope I didn't upset them. Or I hope they don't. It's like we have this voice in our heads that doesn't give us the strength and the courage to speak our truth. And that's like Maya Angelou talks about being pecked to death by ducks. It's our own duck pecking us to death. You know, we second guess ourselves all the time. It's like, oh, I don't know if I should have said that. And, oh, you know, what are they going to think of me? And, you know, it's just that whole thing about being the good girl. You know, that whole thing about being seen and not heard, and being the good girl. And, you know, the stuff that went on in Alabama this week is just beyond me. Oh, really? Morning, Michaela. Oh, really? Yeah. Came up for you this week. Yeah. Fear of judgment. Yeah, Donna, absolutely. That fear of judgment. So here's the deal. You know, I was telling with a client, it was a client of my husband's actually this week, and he was saying, I don't know why I do this all the time. You know, I just feel sometimes I think I'm so stupid that I said, it's not being stupid. When you find yourself in that pattern again, it's to go and find where it started and clear it. If you catch yourself, and this is really what it's all about, it's catching ourselves. In my journaling this week, something came up for me this week, and in my journaling, I caught myself in an old pattern again. You know, I've been doing this work for how long? I'm still hitting stuff. The L. But it was about just taking the dream bigger. Okay, taking the dream bigger. I was listening to an Ali Brown podcast, and if you haven't listened to Ali Brown in a while, there's a great gal she spoke to yesterday, an Australian girl, interestingly enough, that had $1 billion company, and she was fired from it. Really interesting stuff. So it's her latest one, if you're interested. So it's about, wow. And she says in that, you know, that what people think of you, it doesn't define you. And that's so true. So I want to just relate this back to your body, because that's where it gets trapped. You know, every pain you feel in your body, when you're struggling with your weight, it's about that expression of you. The pain and the weight are there for a reason, to tell you something, And so when, like this young entrepreneur I had during the, and she won't mind me sharing this, I'm not telling you who she is, but what she was saying was this, every time she steps out to do something, she gets this weird feeling. And she said, I don't know sometimes whether it's my intuition or it's about me being fearful. I don't know which one it is. And that is true for all of us. Now, what happens in particular for many people is that fear then turns around into doubt, frustration, bad choices, second guessing, and then it's that energy that stops you just flowing. You know, it just stops you from flowing. So that's what this is all about. Okay, this to thine own self be true. Finding the courage to be yourself. Let me know if it's kind of resonating with you. You know, for me, I know, because my issue, you know, I kept everything for me in my body. You know, I had an eating disorder for many years, and, you know, the good food, bad food, healthy food. I assigned labels to food, and if I ate that food, I was a good person or a bad person, because my sense of who I was caught up in my body. I believed if I was a certain weight, and I'm resonating with this at the moment because many of you might know I'm writing a new book about this, and I was remembering things. You know, if I was a certain weight, I was happier. And it was always this struggle to maintain this certain weight. And if I ate, you know, rice crackers and cottage cheese after working out for 2 hours, I was a good person. But if I ate a chocolate chip muffin with chocolate milk, I was a bad person. So all that got stuck in there. And that's how we express. We express it through our body. We express it through the relationships. We express it through our bank accounts. And those are the three things that you need to look at If you think, where's something going wrong in my life? Check one of those three: relationships, body, or bank account. So where it'll say, okay, Donna, let's go. What are we seeing? So funny. I had really strange energy this week, not knowing where it was coming from. Yeah, a lot of that going on this week. Couldn't tap into it, find out how it. So let it just be as it was. I also knew it was going to be something big, and guess what? Thursday coming. Wow. That Thursday, something came through for me to take up an opportunity. Wow. Interesting stuff. Wow. Our intuition just, continues to move, and it's always there. And, if we honor ourselves, our bodies, through using our intuition, whether that, especially when it comes to food, decisions, choices. Well done, Donna. That's awesome. So we're going to do some tapping on this morning. And I want to talk in particular about the words you use. Whenever you start, I want to just carry on with that a little bit from what you just mentioned, Donna, because that sort of resonated with me. We start making decisions from our heart and our soul. It comes down to the words we use. Instead of using the word I should, which is a judgment word, instead, what's right for me? What feels right for me to do right now? Not I should, not I wish. And, there's a great saying, don't should on yourself. It's like when you want to trust your intuition, stop making it conditional. Trust in it. So when you get back to the sense of who you are, that flows. Boy, has that been hitting me fast this week. Just as like Donna was saying, this week, I just think something happens. It's just been extraordinary this week. And that to me indicates when I'm in flow, when I'm on path, when I'm doing what I need to be doing, when I'm in flow, intuition flows. Let me know if that happens to you. And that comes to the food that you eat, the exercise you do, people you associate with, the things you have. Yeah, exactly. So, alrighty, let's talk about trusting the truth of you. And I want you to think about a moment when you didn't trust, or you didn't speak up. You didn't share the truth of you, that you held back. So I want you to think about that moment. Think about that moment. Tell me how you felt where you didn't speak your truth or you didn't step into it. Tell me just what was the feeling you felt? Okay, scale of 1 to 10, what was it? Write that down where you felt it. And let's just tap on that, shall we? Here we go. Even though I knew I stood back from my truth, and I felt sad, I deeply and completely, use whatever word works for you. Powerless. Okay, cool. Michaela might use that. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though in that moment I felt powerless, and I feel it in my stomach. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though in that moment this week, when I didn't speak my truth, I felt powerless. And I know it's linked to a past pattern. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Okay, tapping. This powerless feeling sad about this powerless feeling. Feeling powerless. feeling it in my stomach. This is linked to an old pattern. Feeling powerless. Feeling powerless. It's a pattern I run all the time. It's linked to a memory. This powerless feeling. It's linked to so many other things in my life. Feeling powerless. This sad, powerless feeling that sits in my stomach. I know it's a pattern. This powerless feeling. This sad, powerless feeling. Okay, just take a deep breath and let it go. Now, you know the drill with this. What you need to do now, what you can choose to do now is to go back and think of all the times, and I might run into pages, where you have felt powerless, when someone took your power away and you felt sad or small or insignificant. And that's a great word, Michaela. Thank you for mentioning that, because that powerless feeling is like, it's like roots in a tree, and it wraps around stuff, and it exhibits in many different ways. The time you didn't go for the job, the time that you were involved in an argument and you should have spoken up and you didn't speak up. A time at school where you were too scared to put your hands up to ask a question because the teacher would yell at you or laugh at you or whatever. There's a lot of stuff around powerlessness. And when we feel that we don't have power, that's exactly when we stop being true to ourselves. Great word. Thanks for mentioning that, Michaela. And it's true. I've got some stuff going on for me at the moment. Okay. There's no accidents in this world. So it's not a one thing. It's not a one thing. You will see this, feel this, know this, and the only way out is courage. So you got to reduce the emotional connection to the powerless feeling, and then you have to, no, you don't have to do anything. Then if you want, you can choose to practice feeling powerful, and we're going to do that in the reframe round. I do want to just remind you all of the Reclaim Your Body event next weekend. So exciting. So that's happening next weekend. So if you are interested in doing it, oh gosh, hold on a minute. Just let me get this right. Hope that link is going to happen. Paste. There it is. There it is. And also, if you can't make it, but you really want to get rid of this powerless feeling, we're going to do a reframe in a minute, but I hope you are writing things down. If you have any memories, if you keep thinking, do this, and you feel like you need to have a session with me, book in for a strategy session. Okay, doke. Let's go to a reframe round, shall we? Let's do this. As the memories are coming up for you, remember those you have to tap on. Don't like, well, we're broad here, and that's making it feel good for a minute. It's going to make you realize, but it's the inner work, the constant inner work, doing it every day, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's do a reframe round. And our power pose is going to work beautifully on this today. Measure that level now. Are there things coming up for you? Let me know. If you're going, I remember. Let me know. Let me know if you're feeling it this morning. So remember, everything that we do is a response to something else. Right. Let's go with the reframe round, shall we? Even though In that moment, I felt powerless. I choose to feel courage. Even though in the past I've often felt powerless, and I know it made me feel small, I choose to feel courageously authentic. Even though in the past I have allowed that powerless feeling to dominate my life, I choose to end that right now and embrace courageous authenticity. Here we go. I choose to feel courage. Even if I have to fake it till it happens, I choose to feel courageous. I choose to feel courageous. I choose to speak my truth, even if my voice shakes. I choose to embrace courage. I choose to bring back my power. I choose to forgive all of those who've taken my power away. I choose to forgive myself for giving it away. I choose to feel courageously authentic. I choose to speak my truth. I choose to speak my truth with compassion. I choose to have compassion for myself. I choose to forgive all those who've taken my power away from me. I choose to forgive myself for embracing powerlessness. I choose to feel courageously authentic. Okay, just take a deep breath now. This is a perfect thing for the power pose. So hands on hips for a minute. I want you to just, as you breathe in, feel courageous. Lock your feet firmly on the floor. If you're sitting up in bed having a cup of tea, just pretend, okay? Feel that courage. I like to imagine you are feeling your heart open up like petals on a flower, and courage emanates. You know, this power pose increases testosterone, give you more confidence, decreases cortisol, lowers the stress. Standing in this power pose or sitting in a power pose, strong stance, will make you feel you have more courage, make you feel more confident. Let that rose kind of or flower open up, emanate that courage. And take a deep breath. Okay. Great show today, guys. I encourage you to go forth and be courageous this week. Go forth and speak your truth. Whoop, look out, world. We've got a whole heap of women now going to speak their truth this week. Yes, yes, yes. And, you know, it's about practicing it, even though your voice shakes, even though it might feel uncomfortable. The more you do it, the more you'll feel better. And when you're triggered, remember, if you're triggered, you need to work on the inner work. You're welcome, Deborah. You need to do the inner work. If you're triggered, tap first, breathe first, think first, then respond. You want to be able to respond or speak your truth from that position of power. Feel ready to wear my cape. Yay, Savannah. Yes, absolutely. Pull on that Wonder Woman cape. Yes, absolutely. That's gorgeous. Yes, pull on your cape. Just remember, though, this is like anything else. It takes courage. You have to do it over and over again in order for it to feel comfortable. This is a new learning. This is a new you. Just give yourself permission to practice. Wow. Thanks, Nikki. Needed it for a big event this week. Beautiful. Thank you. See you at the reunion. Yes. Yes. 2 people on this call. 3 people on this call coming to the reunion. I'll have my family being on. So, okay. Have a great week, everybody. Be courageous this week. I think I'm going to make that my new end the line in my email. Be courageous this week. Be you this week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And remember, the world is not going to stop turning tonight. Whatever happens, if you want to believe that, then that's what you'll buy into. But this is about, we create our own reality. So have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you for being on the call. And we will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now.